This video is brought to you by New, a technology company building energy solutions that enable a faster transition to an electric future. Hello, good morning, and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me in a plug-in hybrid BMW XM to run our morning coffee challenge. Now that sounds pretty basic and, not that hard to go get coffee in a car. But it's actually a really important test that matters really to me. And it's to see how plug-in hybrids do with electric driving. You see, a lot of times plug-in hybrids, they put this little rinky-dink electric motor on there. They drive like crap. They're clunky. They're slow. And it really sucks to drive it in electric mode. And that's what this test is all about. It's no measured testing. It's my impressions of driving a car in the full electric setting, which is honestly the reason most people buy plug-in hybrids. Drive electric around the city, use combustion to skip the failing charging networks out on the highway. Kind of makes sense in theory. It depends on the car if it works in practice. So today it's the time to run the BMW XM in this challenge. And of course, I'll overlay some exterior shots. My neighbors are all around right now, so I didn't want to film with them and getting them on camera and everything. So I'm starting it in my driveway. But I've got it pretty charged up. We've got a big battery pack. I'll tell you all the specs, all that stuff, and then we'll go drive it to Starbucks and back. That's basically what we're going to do. Well, we're actually going to go to a little bit of a different parking lot where I'll tell you about all the specs, but I've logged in with my BMW ID. One of my favorite parts of BMWs is I have a virtual ID through my app, basically, and I scan a QR code and all of my settings load in to every BMW. So I set it up originally on a fully spec'd 7 Series, actually an i7 with every option, and now every time I get into another BMW, if it has that equipment, my settings will transfer over. So I was just driving an M2 that didn't have, all the driver assistance, all the crazy stuff in that particular one. Those settings didn't go, but everything it did have went. So I've logged in with my BMW ID last night. I actually took it for a little drive. I haven't driven it in electric mode yet. And so my level 2 charger actually exploded at the house again. So Shane's going to come over and rewire the whole thing and see what's going on. Our new electrician, Shane, is awesome. He's so cool. You'll see him in some of the videos. But basically, we're at 75% state of charge. I'll give you the specs on everything, but I've programmed the car when I start it to actually start in electric mode. I thought, but it's actually starting in hybrid. So I'm going to click M hybrid and go electric. So anyway, I think there's a setting, and I thought I had it ticked where the car will start in electric mode only. Let's see if that's the case, and then I'll tell you all about this thing. Let me raise the brightness on these screens. Let's go over to, wow, the screens are pretty dim right now. What is going on? Brightness at night? I don't know. Not sure why it's so dim. They've been brighter. Maybe it's just a weird thing. We're going to go driving settings, drivetrain and chassis, electric on start. Oh, I had the option off. So electric on start is now selected. Maybe I accidentally deselected it. We're going to go into reverse. We're going to go just behind the house, and let's go talk about all the settings and stuff. But I wanted to at least show you that at least this is good. Even in hybrid mode, it won't kick on the combustion engine if you start it and there's energy in the battery pack. Starting it in electric mode seems pretty good as well. So let's head over there and I'll tell you all about this thing. And well, here it is. It is a 2023 BMW XM. And well, let's talk about the electric bits, since that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. We'll have a full review over on my personal channel, combining the twin turbo 4.4 liter V8 with the electric motor, making over 650 horsepower, or maybe it's just under 650 horsepower, but that should be interesting. What we're really concerned about in this video is the plug-in hybrid bit, the electric bit. Can you drive it electric around town without getting annoyed? Will you have enough range, enough performance? Will it be smooth enough to handle? Now, the only other car we've run in this particular evaluation or test, if you will, was the Porsche Panamera plug-in hybrid, and that did really well. And what's interesting is this car and that car have a very similar electric powertrain strategy. Both of these vehicles use the electric motor pre-transmission. And what that means is you have your combustion engine, you have an electric motor, then you have your transmission, and in this case, then you have your MX drive, which you can put into four-wheel drive sport and use, more of a rear bias and actually drift around. I've seen some videos of these things drifting, which is pretty hilarious. This is a big car, no question. And so that electric motor, by the way, is 147 kilowatts, so roughly 200 horsepower, just under. And that is pretty good. That's like a Golf GTI from a few years ago had 200 horsepower, and that was a hot hatch. And really, if you're driving around town, you don't need that much acceleration. You just need enough to get up to speed, merge with traffic, and having the torque multiplication effect of putting the electric motor pre-transmission will really help with that, I think. Let's find out. I haven't really hit the throttle hard in electric mode yet, so you'll experience it with me for the first time and get my initial impressions. What else do we have going on here? Well, let's talk battery and charging. This has almost a 30 kilowatt hour battery pack. I believe it's 29 and a half, and about 25.7 kilowatt hour usable. So 26 kilowatt hours usable is sizable. That's a lot. I like these plug-in hybrids getting bigger batteries and more power output, because ultimately with a plug-in hybrid, you want to use electric as much as possible, or at least I would. And so you have a J1772 charging port here. I'm glad they did not put DC fast charging on it. If it had a bigger battery pack, maybe that would make sense. Like I believe the Range Rover plug-in hybrid will be mid 30 kilowatt hours. Of course, the Polestar 1, which we're going to be running in this test soon, has DC fast charging, which is why we used that vehicle for the cannonball attempts. But the one thing BMW got right here was the onboard charger. It's a 7.7 kilowatt onboard charger. So I'm really happy to see that. A lot of plug-in hybrids get nerfed on the charging speed down to 3.3 or 3.6 kilowatt onboard chargers. And the problem with that is a plug-in hybrid doesn't have that much electric range. This is over 40 miles predicted, even with my driving style. We'll have a range test and talk about that later on, but 40 miles I think is more than reasonable, and we'll do actually a highway and a city range test on this. BMW plug-ins always go really far on the highway in electric mode, but that'll be an interesting one to test out. I'm actually going to take it on the highway and see how it does driving at highway speeds in this video. But yeah, I think in terms of the specs here, just to kind of sum it up, because I don't want this video going on super long, we have a 30 kilowatt hour battery pack, 26 usable. You can actually set a charging limit inside the vehicle, so it can stop charging at 80 or 90% if you want to preserve the life of your high voltage battery a little bit, which I think is pretty smart and pretty cool. I'd probably set it to 80 or 90% because it does have a pretty big buffer percentage wise. And then we have 200 horsepower of electric, which seems great, and it's pre-transmission. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. Now, in terms of the car itself, I'll take you on a quick tour interior and exterior so you can see what we're working with. By the way, XM, very controversial styling. Curious to see what you guys think. I put this on Twitter and everyone actually said they liked it. And I like it too. It's really growing on me, but I think I only like it because it's totally blacked out. And maybe I'm just getting used to the new BMW stuff and I'm kind of buying into their whole experience. These seats are unbelievably comfortable. This roof is crazy, especially at nighttime, having all these angles and everything. I probably would give this up and get a sunroof. Surprisingly, it looks like it would move, but it doesn't. There's no sunroof here. This sort of outline made me think that it opened up, but no, it's kind of this like cardboard feeling material. I don't know how to describe it. There's definitely some like air under here, some space. Don't know what's going on with that, but it is really cool. It has a banging sound system in this thing. Bowers and Wilkins absolutely shreds. Still think the iX has a little bit better bass, but very cool here. And honestly, the back of it is so interesting. You have the dual BMW logos up top, harkens back to the M1 days, which I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's really cool that they did that. I don't know. They really played up the M thing with this vehicle. From some friends of mine at BMW, this is not an M car. I mean, it might have some M components, but it actually wasn't designed and engineered by BMW M. I believe it was done by their luxury division. So it's a little bit softer. It's a little bit more of a styling thing. It's a show-off piece, if you will, but it could actually be a good alternative to an iX if you're not interested in dealing with the CCS public networks. If you have to do that long trip every month or every 2 weeks and you just want to drive electric every day, this or a plug-in hybrid X5 or an iX all seem like pretty interesting options. And this certainly is a statement piece, whether you like it or you don't. It's interesting. This car is a conversation starter. It's got BMW's latest, greatest everything inside of it. Full automated driving functions, which we'll run in the Hogback Challenge, of course. A lot to do with this vehicle. I only have a couple days to drive it just because of my travel schedule, but we're going to do as much as we can, really figure out the iX. For now, let's go drive it to Starbucks and see how this goes. All right, time to start it up. Start button. Boom, there we go. And why are we in hybrid mode? Did we not just set it to electric before? We go here, we go drive settings, drivetrain and chassis, electric on start. Activate electric automatically upon start. Selected. Hybrid mode. So I believe I've programmed my M1 setting here to go full electric. What's kind of cool with these M cars, if you will, you can program everything. And so the way I have my M1 configuration set is everything for like daily driving. We have drivetrain in comfort, M hybrid in electric, transmission in eco mode basically, max regen, everything set to comfort. And the one thing I don't want is the M sound. So we're going to turn M sound off. And the reason is, even if you have the M sound on in electric mode, it like pumps in the fake audio from the exhaust, which we don't want. So this should be pure silent. Into drive, we have, again, 70%, maybe 60% state of charge, predicting 26 miles. Honestly, better than like plug-in hybrids from just a few years ago. Would be lucky if they got 26 miles. Here we're not even fully charged, and I just plugged it in on a 110 overnight. This car does need a 240 volt connection to be full in the morning. It was 24 hours on a wall outlet to fully charge it. Some plug-in hybrids with smaller batteries, you can get away with just a wall outlet, not this one. So let's go drive it. Let's go see how it does. First of all, noticing quiet, rear steer working. I have this nice power gauge telling me how much we're using. And the one thing I want to test first of all, first things first, is BMWs, when you lock them in electric mode, typically let you go all the way down on the throttle pedal, but there's always that little kick down switch, the little thunk at the end. And I believe in electric mode in this, we'll have to try it, I can go all the way to the kick down switch, but if I depress the kick down switch, it will fire up the combustion engine at max power on a cold start. And that just seems dreadful to me, but let's just grin and bear it in case that happens. So to the kickdown switch. Oh, nice, stays in electric. So you can easily maximize, wow, it's not slow in electric either. You can easily maximize your electric power in this car when you're in electric mode to just go to the kickdown switch. You just max it out, everything you got. Love to see that. That is wonderful. So that's a huge positive here. And that's honestly what this test is all about, is can you maximize your electric performance? The answer is yes. Love to see it. Now for this test, I'm actually going to go to a Starbucks that's a couple exits down the highway, because I think to simulate a commute or a morning coffee run, we should see if this can maintain highway speed in electric mode. We know a lot of plug-in hybrids that can't. But so far, oh, she thinks I'm talking to her. So far, I'm really impressed with this electric acceleration, and just going to the kickdown switch, blasting up to speed really quick, actually. That's good. The one downside to this type of throttle situation is when you need just a little bit more performance. If you're merging on the highway and max electric isn't enough, when you're locked in electric mode, the only option you have to go faster is depress the kickdown switch in a short period of time without changing all your settings. And the problem with that is you are firing up that M twin power turbo V8, which is probably a sensitive engine gauging on how BMWs wear. You're starting that thing up at full send, which, oh, that irks me. I don't, technically, I'm sure they can handle it, and technically combustion engines and plug-in hybrids should last longer than in full combustion cars, because they don't get heat cycled as much, they don't get as many cold starts, but the starts that they do get are more aggressive, and I am sure they tuned it so it's fine, but man, starting that thing up at wide open throttle is annoying. Forget about the wear and tear. The other annoying part of it is, what if you just need a little bit more power? And this is where Porsche is still the only plug-in hybrid that I've driven that has that plunger effect in the pedal, so that I can max out my electric mode in electric, but I'm still only using 30 or 40% of the throttle. As soon as I depress the false floor in that particular vehicle, the engine fires up, but it only gives me that extra few percent of power that I'm asking for. It's not firing it up at full power. And so I think more automakers need to implement that, because it's actually a little bit annoying if you just need a tiny bit more and then you're like, whoa, 600 horsepower. So anyway, let's keep driving. I've already noticed a few things I'm actually not liking so much here, and I'll let you know about how those feel as I get more miles under my belt. Well, there's my Rivian with Alyssa driving it. Fun to see her driving around town. I don't know why she's driving the Rivian, but That's why it wasn't at my house. But sometimes my cars go missing. Now I know why. She stole the Rivian from me. Anyway, let's continue onwards. So driving here through the town on sort of these B roads, if you will. They're sort of fast moving, but still town roads, not a highway. The car is doing great. It's very smooth with this type of thing. The suspension's actually set a little bit firm, but it's got an M in the name, so that's okay. And but I would say the drivetrain's very smooth at this type of cruising and dead silent. Cannot hear the electric motor at all, which is very impressive. And the nice thing actually is you can retain electric mode and still use all-wheel drive, which like Volvo plug-in hybrids cannot. As soon as you get wheel spin on a Volvo plug-in hybrid, it's just, you know, the rear electric motor turns on the combustion engine so that you're safe. In this car, it can stay electric, and you can do donuts electric. I've done them in plug-in hybrid BMWs, which is hilarious. This is where I'm feeling the downside. Ooh, not so good there. So let's talk about the regen strategy. There's 2 regen modes that I mentioned earlier. There's regen on high, max, and min. And I am thinking maybe min would actually be better. And here's what's going on. Basically, as we're coming to a stop here, I can feel the transmission downshifting through the regen. So I'm getting regen, and then the car almost coasts a little bit, and then it regens again, and it's actually quite jerky. I'm surprised at how unsmooth that is at the low speed sort of shifting integration with the electric motor. Other BMWs seem to do a better job at that, and that might be because this is the beefed up 8-speed built for, you know, to handle the power of this V8. It's just maybe not as forgiving as some of the, you know, like 330e that doesn't need to handle that much combustion performance, if you will. But very surprised with that. In terms of getting off the line, there's almost a slight delay as well. When you first inch forward, you hit the throttle, and it almost feels like it's being stuck or held on auto hold before it releases, which is also a little bit annoying. And then you feel the shifts on the upshift. So what I'll do here is I'll go pretty hard throttle. So here we go, wide open throttle. Had to kick down a gear. There's a gear shift. You can actually see my foot's floored. You can see that gear shift where it cuts power. And so, are you really getting a smooth electric experience here? The answer is no. It actually drives just like a combustion car would, but it's electric. So where's the electric benefit? That's in terms of the low speed driving. I'm not sure this car actually has it. Certainly there's a cost and environmental benefit to doing it, but sometimes driving electric is nice because it's super smooth and torquey, and this feels a little bit clunky going through the transmission. And here we go, merging on the highway. No question, this car is quiet, it's well built, it's refined. It's just so impressed with my first few miles in this thing so far. It feels really good. I'm kind of really liking the car a lot. So let's give it the full beans, 100%. I felt it kick down, now it just upshifted. So sometimes it cuts power for a gear shift, sometimes it doesn't, but you always feel the transmission shifting, which is a little bit, I guess it's a, you know, there's an upside and a downside. You get that torque multiplication at speed, you get the efficiency at high speed. Still, look, accelerating hard at speed. There was another gear shift. Look at that, right up to 80 miles an hour, no problem at all. So that's great to see. And, you know, it does this thing pretty well. Now, there's 2 ways to look at a plug-in hybrid. The one is as electric daily driving, and the other is using the electric systems to enhance the combustion for sort of a performance boost or a, you know, sort of torque fill-in during turbo lag, things like that. This does all of that, and we'll have a separate video on how it integrates with the combustion engine. But for now, this is how, I don't know, how I would use this thing most of the time. Now, it does look like there's a top speed around 85 miles an hour electric. We are going to try and hit that up here. There's some open stretches before we get off our exit for Starbucks. But no question, yeah, this thing is great on the highway. It's got good driver assistance. We aren't using it now, but I've used this system in other cars. We'll do a hogback with it as well. And yeah, I mean, just even accelerating, we're not using much power at all. So if we just want to maintain that pace, we're using, you know, 20% of the available power just to maintain pace, more or less, which is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, I would say. So we do need to find the top speed though, so I guess we got to back off here a little bit, and then we'll give it a nice run up at wide open throttle just to see what the maximum it can do in electric mode. Here we go, full send, 100% throttle, 81, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go, 89, and it just kind of hit, didn't kick on the combustion engine, it just maxed out and cut our speed there. So that's very interesting. So here is our exit. Let's merge over. Try not to take off the front end of a Subaru. And we are good to go. That is very impressive. 90 miles an hour, 89 miles an hour electric. Whoop, here we go. And that's great. Now in terms of regen, you can see I have this charge indicator here. And so if I hit the brake pedal, yes, it does add more regen. So that's off throttle, that's brake blending. Brake pedal feels pretty good actually. So, you know, if you can get over a little bit of the clunks at very low speed, I think this actually is a pretty good compromise here to put the electric motor in front of the transmission, just for that high speed, high power, and high efficiency capability. All right, I've just shut off the car as we pulled in the parking lot. It says goodbye. And again, I can set my charging settings here, which is pretty sweet. So I can say charge immediately or during a time slot, which is great. You can have a departure time, so the cabin will precondition. We have an AC charging limit. Like, what plug-in hybrid gives you all of this? Down to 8 amps, 6 amps, all the way up to 32 amps. We won't have a limit. We just want the max. I love that you can set a charging limit from 20% up to 100. Now, what's interesting is, unlike the BMW iX or i4 that recommend an 80% charge level, that message doesn't come up here, which indicates there must be a larger buffer. Honestly, if I had this car, I still wouldn't full charge it all the time. I'd probably leave it at 90%, and that will just help the battery last a little bit longer, in my impression. And then, of course, you can unlock your charging cable. So love to see all this. Let's run inside. It's a perfect day outside right now. Beautiful weather. And get some Starbucks, get some strawberry acai. All right, drink is secured. Let's throw it in here, start it up, see if it starts in electric this time. It does. Nice. I don't know why that didn't work. And I'm gonna put on my cooled cup holder. Check that out. Cup holder cooling. How sick is that? All right, let me run over there, get a thumbnail. We'll drive back and I'll give you my final thoughts on if this passes the Starbucks challenge, the coffee run challenge, I should say. Well, now you join me back from where we started with my Starbucks. And I gotta say, those cooled cup holders, those things are pretty cool, literally. It's nothing new. Cars have had it for a while, but it's actually my first time ever trying it out. That was pretty sweet. Anyway, did the XM pass the coffee run challenge? The answer is yes. It has plenty of electric range, you know, perfect amount, especially considering it has that over 7 kilowatt onboard charger to juice you up in between runs. You come home, you plug it in, you're good to go for the next run. Really like that. The acceleration, amazing. Top speed, amazing in electric mode. 90 miles an hour electric. You don't need anything more than that. Really happy to see all of this here in this vehicle. There are 3 things I don't like about it that would actually, like, it just doesn't seem right. This is a $160-something thousand car. Should have told you that. It's a lot more than an iX. And it's certainly not as refined as driving experience as an iX M60 is, for example, or even a 50, which is the one I would go for. Getting off the line, very clunky. Very clunky. You hit the throttle, it takes a second, it feels like it gets stuck, and then it goes, whoa, okay, and you're getting a lot of juice. So the off-the-line acceleration is a bit jerky in electric mode. The gear shifting needs to be tuned better, especially under regen coming into a stoplight. That's pretty rough. And there was a third thing, but I'm kind of forgetting what it was. Either way, those are my 2 main issues with it, is basically the drivetrain tuning and calibration. Oh, the third thing, the pedal, when you need to accelerate past your maximum acceleration in electric mode, kicks on the combustion engine at full send, which I really hate. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. So you can drive around those things. You can get used to it. I still think if you're not going to take a lot of long road trips, I would consider the BMW iX fully electric would be smoother. If you want to have Bolt, if you want to have a bit of M flair, if you want a bit more performance, a bit more fun, then definitely this is the way to go. The price is just crazy. $160-something thousand, $165 as tested. That's pretty high. But cooled cup holders. So, okay, great. Certainly the looks are growing on me and everyone else. It's getting windy. Let's end this clip. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. See you on another one soon. Bye-bye.